How's it going, guys? Just want to share with you guys my updated Hetz build for Path of Titans. I know that we've had a couple builds before. We already did the build, and then we did an update to that. And this is the second update because they've buffed and nerfed this dinosaur a few times now. And I just want to share with you guys the way that I'm running it currently and what abilities seem to be working for it now. And I took a little while to make this update video because they had been changing so much stuff, and I wasn't sure when they were going to stop changing stuff for the Hetz a little bit. So it seems to be a bit more stable, so we have a bit more of a better build to go off of now that doesn't seem to be changing. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So first off, as we always do, we talk about the subspecies. Now, as you can see, I'm still running the plus 3% attack damage, for the subspecies. I do feel that this is best. You could run the other ones if you want. I do know a lot of people run the defense one, which is this one right here. But I really do believe that the plus 3% attack is good. This dinosaur does not have a strong defense to start with, so even if you added on to its defense with the subspecies, it doesn't really help. This thing does have a pretty high attack damage though, so we're just going to stack into what it's already good at and run the plus 3% attack damage for the Hetz. If we look at our abilities, we have 2 in the head slot, right? We run Peck, which restores a small amount of stamina for every attack that you inflict. Must be grounded to use. This is not true. They still have not changed this in the description. You can use the peck attack while in the air. That's why a lot of Hetzes do the maneuver where they fly over top of a dinosaur, especially a bigger dinosaur, and kind of float there and they peck it in the back and stuff like that. They use peck, and that's why we have it on our build, is because that is kind of broken to be able to fly above a dinosaur and not have to land and still be able to do damage to them. It's a little bit of a cheese maneuver, and it does take a little work to get used to, but yeah, it is pretty broken. So we run Peck, it does a decent amount of damage, but we do it so that we can attack while in the sky as well, and it does, like I said, a decent amount of damage as well. It's not too bad. Looking at our second head slot, we have Stab. It says that it deals a low amount of damage, but ignores armor and weight. It does deal a fair amount of damage. It does more damage than Peck does. So this is going to be your main, spicy attack. If you're on the ground running up to someone, because you can only use this one on the ground, you want to try to run in and you want to try to enter with this attack. It does take a little little time to get used to the timing, because once you hit the button, the attack kind of happens a little bit later. So get used to the timing and stuff like that, but this does a lot of damage. So you kind of want to use this on entry, and then you can follow up with some of the peck to be able to kind of fill in the time, and then try to use Stab again. And that's kind of the rotation you use. And then let's talk about the sense real quick. Evil Eye, I do feel, is still the best. While grounded, the closest creature to you within 60 meters radius deals 20% reduced damage. This is just strong. It gives you a little bit of natural defense. And it just allows you to do a lot more damage to the target because you're not taking as much. The Hetz is kind of a fragile dino, so you don't want to get hit a lot, so that helps with that. For our front limb, we use Wing Beat, and this is mostly to try to throw a dinosaur off of a cliff or something like that. Let's just paint a scenario. Let's say we have a T-Rex and he's posted up on a cliffside, got his back to the cliffside to try to prevent other dinosaurs from getting behind him. You could fly down in front of him and just hit him with the Wing Beat and throw him right off the cliff, and it's an instant kill. So we use Wing Beat for that reason. It also helps if people are trying to attack you to get them off of you, especially if they're attacking you from the front. It can kind of shove them away so that you can get a chance to get back in the air and kind of get out of that fight. It also throws their timing of attacks off too, depending on the dinosaur you're fighting. For the other air slot, or the wing slot, sorry, we run Barrel Roll. This is our main source of attack damage while in the air, and it covers a pretty good area, pretty big hitbox when you're using it in the air. Helps you fight other Hetzes and things like that. You can also use it upon entry when there's a dino walking on the ground. You can kind of fly towards them, swoop towards them, and hit barrel roll, and does a fair amount of damage, but you're going to take collision damage from yourself as like hitting them as well, so just be careful of that when you're using barrel roll. But it is a very, very strong technique, and it is our first line of defense and our only line of attack in the air. So this build is more built for the ground anyway, the way that I run it. Looking at the hide, Tough Beak, this here, take 75% reduced damage on the first hit that you take upon entering combat. So as long as you're not in combat, you will have this buff. So the very first, hit that you take while in combat, that there is going to be reduced huge. So as a Hetz, this kind of gives you the potential to fly down and try to attack somebody on the ground, and you can kind of get a free attack for it. You don't really want to stay there if you're getting tagged up, right? But this will prevent you from like just instant dying. Let's say you fly up to a Rex on the ground, you land, and you chase up behind him, and he goes and hits a stomp before you can get the peck off. This will save your life hugely. It'll keep you alive. And then last but not least, we have the lag slot. We still run with the running start ability. 50% increased maneuverability when on the ground, and again, because this is more of a ground build, a ground fighting build, that's what I run. And it just helps us get around on the ground better. You know, any kind of movement that you have on the ground is going to be worth it to another, because anybody can just push the attack button and attack, but the ability to like dodge attacks or outmaneuver people, that's where the real skill in combat on the ground comes in. So we want that, you know. The other thing I do want to mention, because this is basically the build right here, what you see before you and what we just talked about, but I do want to mention that people have asked, like, should I run Clamp? Is Clamp viable? Clamp is 100% viable. There is certain dinosaurs that you can't pick up, and there's also certain dinosaurs that run like slick scales that won't let, like, it won't allow you to grab them either. So it becomes a little bit more niche, but I mean, it's obviously powerful to be able to pick up a dinosaur and pull it up in the air and just drop it. So if you guys wanted to run that build, you could throw that in one of your hit slots and stuff like that. If you're going to do that, though, I would recommend keeping Peck as your main source of attack and then running Clamp. So you'd probably take off Stab and run Clamp. If you're going to do that kind of build, it is up to you guys. It is an option. It is viable. I just prefer this way because I like to just hit on fight people on the ground and things like that. And you can fight in the air with this build as well. But that's why I run that, and I don't run Clamp, because I feel like I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible, and Stab just does more damage than Peck. And if you couple these two together, it gives you just a lot of damage output while on the ground. So, and it gives you another source of attack. So this is the build. If you guys want to stick around, we will have some gameplay footage of the Hatz and how we've been using this new build. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Hey guys, I just wanted to add this clip in here. I found this clip and I realized that I didn't have any kills on my Hatz for this update video, to where I was floating above them and using this maneuver, this I guess movement tech, if you will. But as you can see, you can use Peck in the air. It says that you can't on the abilities, but you can. And what we're doing here is we're just being able to, trying to use our precise movement while in the air to float above his head and peck him, and as you can see, we're getting some hits off there. This guy ends up running away and I don't get the kill on him, but I just figured for the build video, just to show you how it works, that I'd put this in here. Alright, peace.